We've come to Oulton Park in Cheshire for the opening round of the 2013 Advantage Motorsport Ford XR Challenge. Born from the original one-make Ford Saloon Championship, which started back in the early 1980s, this is a highly competitive yet very affordable and friendly series. There is a class for the more modern Fiesta ST, but at Oulton Park it's a battle between the Mark II Fiesta XR2s and the Mark IV Escort XR3Is. So what's the difference in performance between the two?
Fiestas run lighter, they're a lighter car and obviously a shorter wheelbase, so they tend to be very good in the tight corners, whereas the Escort are a little bit better in the longer sweeping corners, longer wheelbase, a bit more stable for that.
The Escort is faster on the longer straights, we're a bit more nimble. And here you've got kind of a good mix. You've some tight bits and then there's the long straights. So, yeah, you know, if you get a good driver in it, it'll, you know, you fetch it up there.
It's a Fiesta that takes pole position. Steve Paul's car running extremely well in qualifying.
Yeah, well, it is set for a little coil lead dropped off after about 4 laps, so thank goodness it didn't do that in the race, you know. So yeah, just want to thorough check everything over now, ready for the race. The car's going really well, considering I haven't really tested over the winter, so I was very happy with the results, really.
But the quickest Escort is not far behind. Andrew Lenny qualifying second.
It's gone really well, the car feels really strong. It was understeering a bit, so I had a bit of an off at Old Hall, went a bit airborne, but yeah, I'm second on the grid, so I'm really pleased with that.
The next fastest Escort was Lee Boron, but he would start back in 11th place after a troubled session.
We just had a small problem out in qualifying where one of the plug leads came out of the distributor, causing a misfire. So we put that plug lead back in the pit lane during qualifying, and then another one consequently came out after that. So we put that back in again. So yeah, we're just making sure now we're dotting the I's and crossing the T's, I suppose.
Qualifying was the only time to see Peter Futers in action after his engine developed a big end bearing fault, a frustrating start to his 25th season in motorsport. At the other end of the spectrum, Adam Burgess is only just beginning his racing career.
With me being so close to the circuit, I've come here since I was a child watching touring cars. So I do love the circuit. I've done many track days here in sort of Caterhams and my own road car. So I'm starting to get to know it well. So I absolutely love the circuit, it's really nice, especially when you've got the nice weather like today. I've done 2 days worth of testing so far this season. It seemed okay. Qualifying, we only just made it out, a few tinkering a bit with the car. We've qualified 3rd in class, which is 14th overall out of about 20 cars, so it's not too bad. Quite pleased with it for the first round.
Another new face is ex-Autograss racer Jonathan Wells, but can he draw anything from previous experience?
The only comparison is they're both front-wheel drive cars. There's nothing, absolutely everything's different. Driving style, maintenance on the cars, the type of equipment used, and it's all different. I mean, the only thing that swaps over is the race overalls, which we wore last year. We chose the XR Challenge because we wanted something based sort of in the north, so we weren't having excessive travel costs, and something that was quite a low body contact. But this seems to be quite a clean championship, and everyone in it seems to have quite nice cars, so everyone wants to keep them nice. It's just nice. It's a nice championship, nice friendly people, and the track's fantastic. I mean, Oulton Park, I've only driven it 4 days ago for the first ever time. Now been out in this. The skills transfer really well from just an old road car to this.
So here's how the grid lines up. Steve Paul on pole position, but only by 82 thousandths of a second from Andrew Lenny. Ralph Ferneyhoff and Michael Heath on row 2. Greg Spate and Stephen McMurray complete the 3rd row of the grid, with Jack Minshaw and Ben Lamont on row 4. Okay, then the cars are on the grid, ready for the off. The red lights come on. This is the view on board Andrew Lenny from the front row of the grid. Away we go then. Can he challenge Steve Paul on the run into turn 1 at Old Hall Corner? Well, there is Steve's car. The silver XR2 has got its nose in front. Steve Paul in the lead. Andrew Lenny holds on to 2nd place. It's very tight for 3rd position as well, but it looks like Ralph Ferneyhoff has held station and remains in 3rd place ahead of Michael Heath. They charge down then the avenue for the first time through to Cascades, and it's nip and contact for the lead of the race. Third place is now Michael Heath. So I think Fernie Hoff had his nose in front in that battle through turn one at Old Hall Corner, but now it's switched around and Michael Heath on the tail of this man, Andrew Lenny. That's pushing him onto the tail of the race leader as they come through towards Shell Oil's hairpin for the first time. So the race leader is Steve Paul from pole position, then Andrew Lenny, then from fourth on the grid Michael Heath in the black and red number 18 XR2. Then it's Ralph Fernie Hoff, and he's coming under attack now from Greg Spate in the white and black car number 5. Through the chicane they come then for the first time on board with Andrew Lenny. They climb uphill now over towards Hilltop and down towards the next chicane at Knickerbrook. And is there a challenge here from the leading XR3i driver? No, he's not close enough just yet. So they come into this braking zone, a downhill braking zone. They flick right, then left, then right again and climb up Clay Hill. So nose to tail between the top two. This is a 20-minute race duration. Michael Heath just dropping back from them a little bit in third position, but still well clear of Ralph Fernie Hoff, who's managed to hold on to fourth place. Oh, and from sixth on the grid, that is Stephen McMurray, who's gone off. Whether he's had an off, had a spin, been hit, or has got a mechanical drama, I don't know. But the end result, I'm afraid, is that the car already is out of the race. So that's one of the front runners gone. Here are the leaders, though. Down towards the end of lap number 1. Into Lodge Corner they come. No change in the top 5. Then it's the green Mark Buxton car running in 6th place. He's picked up 2 or 3 spots off the start of the grid. There is number 14 on board with him now. Tony Rudd wrestling his XR2 towards the end of the first lap of the race. Over the start line he goes, having started 10th on the grid. Leaders come through into Old Hall Corner. Clip of the inside curb. Running wide then. Running very wide for the 4th place car of Ralph Fernie Hoff. Ralph having a good run here in qualifying and in the race. There was only a 1/10 of a second between the top 3 in qualifying, only 6/10 of a second covering the top 4. So expecting this to be a very close race. Steve Paul, though, controlling the pace from the front at the moment. On board again with Tony Rudd, working the wheel down into Cascades. Through the left-hander he goes. Then he'll go off towards Island Bend. There's one of the drivers we heard from at the start of the show, Adam Burgess, in the Class B car, the XR3i, one of the novice drivers, a newcomer, trying to work his way up through the order. Somebody local to this circuit, as a lot of the drivers are. Through the Shell Oil's hairpin again then. This is the 2nd place car of Andrew Lenny, exactly matching the pace of Steve Paul. Coming into the chicane, left then right, and definitely the XR3i of Andrew Lenny with the onboard camera closing up a little bit under braking, but out of the corner, a little bit more nimble, a little bit lighter. The Fiesta just edges back away from him, so the gaps open up slightly, then close again. We're coming into a yellow flag zone because we've got Stephen McMurray's stricken XR2 still stranded at the side of the circuit, which you'll see in a second there, the orange car. So no overtaking at the moment on the way into the chicane. And still no change for 3rd and 4th. And what's this? From 6th position, that's from 5th place, actually. That's Greg Spate. Number 5, he's gone off the road. He rejoins, he tucks back in behind Ben Lamont, number 12. So he's dropped back towards the back end of the top 10. There is the number 64 of Steve Clapton towards the tail of the field. On board with Steve now as he works his way through the chicane, trying to come up from 17th on the grid. Had a big roll, big accident at Anglesey towards the end of last year. It's good to see Steve back in the car, looking good as we see a challenge here for the lead of the race, and Andrew Lenny into Lodge Corner has got the inside line. The Escort's got his nose in front. Andrew has got the lead of the race. Big battles going on further down the order as well. Number 19, John Biddulph, going side by side with the other Escort of number 62, Lee Boweron. And now you're back on board with the leader of Steve Paul to the left. Look, he's coming back alongside him. Steve on the outside line into the right-hander at Old Hall Corner. Can't get through though. Andrew runs a little bit wide on the exit though. Again, just about scrambling back onto the racing line to close the door in time to keep Steve Paul behind him. So that was a bit ragged. The job is not yet done, and here back through into the lead of the race comes Steve Paul. Well, Andrew Lenny might not be in the same class as Steve Paul, but he definitely wants to take the outright race win. There is Lee Boweron in the 2nd Escort. Then it's the orange Lee Shropshire car in the midfield battle just ahead of number 46 Christopher Purcell. Then 3rd in the XR3 class you have got Adam Burgess in the yellow number 22 machine. This is a replay then of when Andrew Lenny got the lead of the race into Lodge Corner. A lovely move down the inside. That was from the onboard This is what it looked like from the outside of Lodge Corner. Andrew darting out of the slipstream at the very last millisecond. A great move that, just squeezing up the inside, attacking Steve Paul, taking him by surprise. But then 2 corners later, Steve gets the move done. All that really because Andrew Lenny just ran a little bit too wide coming out of Old Hall Corner, lost his momentum. Steve got the better run out of the previous corner, and that is why he, as you can see, is back into the lead of the race. But they're coming back towards Lodge Corner, and Andrew Lenny having to think about it again. Then Michael Heath in 3rd place, being caught up now by number 8 Ralph Ferneyhoff, who wants to get back into the top 3, wants to get back into the podium positions, having qualified 3rd. Ralph now charging up towards the start finish line once again, as the race leaders now come down towards Old Hall Corner, and 3rd and 4th are catching up the 2 leaders. The top 4 are going to be together very soon, as Steve Paul goes a bit defensive on the way into Old Hall Corner. Andrew Lenny with a bit more grip this time on the exit to the turn, but there's no way through here. It's single file. You might be brave enough to try and move into the next corner at the bottom of the hill, but it's always a bit 50-50. So Andrew Lenny, I think sensibly, sits pretty, but I think he's been held up there by Steve Paul, and this allows Michael Heath now to get the better run out of the corner. Andrew looks to the left, and there you go, Michael Heath drawing alongside him. Michael, 2nd in last year's championship within the class, though, backs off again. Andrew Lenny trying to go back around the outside. It's nip and tuck, but Michael Heath finally gets through on the way into Ireland Bend, and we have a new 2nd place car. So now we got Fiesta's 1st and 2nd, the best of the escorts, and he's best by quite some distance is Andrew Lenny in 3rd place, and Ralph Ferneyhoff, with all of that, has now got right onto the tail of this lead group, this lead quartet that we now have. So Andrew Lenny back down to 3rd place. Good battle developing here between number 6 Jack Minshaw, and having had his spin a couple of laps ago, coming back through the field is Greg Spate in the white and black machine, the number 5 car. The lead quartet coming down towards the chicane, and is there going to be a change for 3rd? Yes, Ralph Ferneyhoff down the inside of Andrew Lenny. So Andrew Lenny, first, not more than a lap ago, is now in 4th place, and he's fell from 2nd to 4th to the back of this quartet in the last 30 seconds or so. Looking backwards from Andrew Lenny as he climbs up this fairly steep hill now through Clay Hill, off towards one of the quickest corners on the circuit, Druids. There's the battle for 8th place. Number 12, Ben Lamont, still with number 5, Greg Spate, right on his tail. Greg trying to come back through the order, quick enough to qualify 5th, and he ran 5th in the early phase of the race until he had an off at Knickerbrook, but he quickly got going again, and he's very quick again at the moment. And here comes Andrew Lenny. Look at the back of this lead quartet, the black and white escort. Looked like he was about to line up a move. He's done it. Squeezes down the inside of Ralph Ferneyhoff, and straight away he gets his 3rd place back. Nice line then coming out up through Deer Leap towards the end of another lap, charging over the start-finish line. The car's averaging nearly 80 miles an hour in qualifying this morning, so the pace has been very good. There's the 2nd place car of Michael Heath. He's now gunning for the race leader, Steve Paul. Here's the battle for 8th place as Greg Spade goes all the way around the outside at Lodge Corner to get ahead of Ben Lamont as we head for a break. Welcome back to Oulton Park for the Advantage Motorsport Ford XR Challenge, and you're looking at the lead battle, and into the lead has just come number 18 Michael Heath, but Steve Paul, it was all over the back of him, locking up his tyres, locking up his brakes to try and hold on to that lead, but in the end Michael Heath gets through, and we've got a new race leader here. Paul down to 2nd, Andrew Lenny in 3rd. There's number 12 Ben Lamont, who's just been overtaken by Greg Spate, the number 5 car coming back up the order. His next target will now be to get up to 7th place, on board with Tony Rudd. He's just on the fringe of the top 6 in the number 14 car, having started in 10th position, working his way up through Clay Hill. But he's been, one of these drivers, been caught by Greg Spate and needs to get on with it. Here are the lead quartet then, and Steve Paul has now got Andrew Lenny right on his tail. Andrew very briefly led the race early on, got the lead away from Steve Paul. Steve has led most laps. Steve, having dropped to 2nd place, is now back on the attack then. Doesn't know whether to defend 2nd place or attack for the lead of the race, so he goes for it. He's going for the inside line, and he gets back ahead of Michael Heath on the way into Old Hall Corner. And a little bit wide on the exit though. This is what Andrew Lenny did when he got the lead of the race 2 or 3 laps ago, and then it cost him into the next corner. Has Steve done enough to hold firm? Not quite. Michael Heath drawing alongside him, almost getting his nose chopped off, but Steve Paul hanging on to the lead by the skin of his teeth. So back into the lead goes Paul, looking for the 3rd place car of Andrew Lenny here, and Michael Heath is drawing back alongside the race leader. He's got back through, and Andrew Lenny's going to have a go on the way to Ireland Corner. There's contact! There's contact! Steve Paul goes off. Andrew Lenny is sent wide off into the gravel. There they are. Michael Heath gets away from them all, and Ralph Ferneyhoff gets in between them. In fact, Ralph has gone from 4th to 2nd with all of that, and Andrew Lenny just trying to squeeze up the inside of Paul. Didn't quite work out. We'll have a look, I'm sure, again at what happened, but Andrew continues. Steve Paul has continued as well, look. He's dropped to 4th place, and hopefully no real damage to those cars. It has allowed Michael Heath to get away, though. Here's a replay on board with Andrew Lenny. Michael Heath has got through into the lead of the race, and then, yes, Steve Paul comes across, closes the door. There's contact. Maybe he didn't realise Andrew Lenny was there. Andrew then almost getting caught out again by the spinning Steve Paul car, gets sent onto the grass, and they're both. Ralph Ferneyhoff, who says, thank you very much, 4th to 2nd. I'll be very pleased to take that. And look, while we're watching the replay, Steve Paul in the silver number 66 Fiesta has got back ahead of Andrew Lenny, back to 3rd place and right on the tail of Ralph Ferneyhoff. And look, number 5, Greg Spade has just squeezed back around the outside of another driver. This time he gets past number 14, Tony Rudd. So Greg challenging to get back in the top 6. This is the blue number 35 Ron Lofstad car, which runs 4th currently in the XR3i class. And here's the battle for 2nd place. Steve Paul trying to go around the outside of Ralph Ferneyhoff. More contact again on the way out of the corner, and Paul ends up in the barriers. Steve Paul, former race leader, one of the championship favourites this year, is out of the race. The door is open, the engine is off, and he's in the barriers. So double contact with Ralph Ferneyhoff there as he tried to go around the outside, and Steve really has been in the thick of all the action so far in this race. So up into the 4th place now is going to come this man, number 29, Mark Buxton. This is an impressive drive. Haven't seen too much of him so far in the race, but he's come all the way up from 9th place, and he has slowly been catching that lead quartet. So good drive by him. And there we've got Jack Minshaw is the next driver to come under attack from Greg Spate, who is charging back through the order, having dropped down to 10th or 11th position on the 2nd lap of the race. Out of the car and out of harm's way is Steve Paul, but he'd be bitterly disappointed with everything that's gone on in the last 2 or 3 minutes. Let's have a look at a replay. Look, he tries a brave move around the outside of Ralph Ferneyhoff. He gets his nose in front, but then inevitably there's contact between the pair of them, and almost a double hit there. It's the 2nd hit, the 2nd bit of contact, which sends Steve Paul off the road. Otherwise, I think he might have got away with that. This then becomes the battle for 5th place. Jack Minshaw is still just about fending off Greg Spate, keeping him at arm's length as they go through Lodge Corner, but he's got his work cut out because Greg is definitely the quicker of the two at the moment. And just behind them, another duo. This is number 12, Ben Lamont, now ahead of number 14, Tony Rudd. And back to this battle for 5th place into Old Hall, at the inside this time for Greg Spate. A different move, but the same result. He gets through, and that puts him back where he started, back up to 5th place. And here's a lovely tussle that's going on just outside of the top 6. There's place gained there by Lee Boron, moving up the inside of John Biddulph's Fiesta. Just behind them is Adam Burgess, catching them all up, and Adam battling away with Lee Boron in the final stages of this race to see who finishes 2nd in class. Here they come again then, down towards Old Hall Corner, and it's still side by side. Trying to go back around the outside was John Biddulph, but he can't quite do it. This is a great battle going on for 10th place overall. In 8th place ahead of them is Lee Shropshire, number 33, who's had a decent run here, and looks like he's going to have a calm run to the checkered flag. And there is our novice driver. He's kept his nose clean. He's almost lapped, but he's going to avoid being lapped, I think. Jonathan Wells doing a good job in his first ever race with the series. And there was the white car of Christopher Purcell just ahead of the yellow machine of Andrew Thorpe. They're both just outside of the top 10. Now back in front in this battle for 10th place has gone John Biddulph in the blue Fiesta. And then we've got Lee Boron coming under attack now from the increasingly fast Adam Burgess for 2nd in the XR3i class. But they've got less than half a lap to run now, and much less than that to run for the race leader. Here he is, Michael Heath, coming into Lodge Corner for the final time. It's going to be a tight battle for 2nd place as well between Ralph Ferneyhoff and Andrew Lenny. They're almost nose to tail. Smoke coming from the back of Michael Heath's car, but he's going to get to the checkered flag. He's going to bring it home, and he wins the Advantage Motorsport Ford XR Challenge race. 2nd place does go to Ralph Ferneyhoff, but only by a 10th of a second from Andrew Lenny in 3rd. Andrew, though, of course, wins the XR3i class after a scintillating battle. There, though, a very happy Michael Heath, and that is his first outright race win in the championship. Confirmation of the results. Michael Heath, Ralph Ferneyhoff and Andrew Lenny all make it onto the overall podium, with Mark Buxton 4th, Greg Spate 5th and Tony Rudd completing the top 6 after Jack Minshaw fell back to 9th late on. It's always good to win, but to win a battle like that, even better.
To win a battle like that was brilliant, and it's the first ever outright win as well, and I just can't describe how I feel. Absolutely
You're on the pace from the word going that race, though, weren't you?
Back end of last year, I'd sort of come up in the field very quickly, and then a few problems in qualifying, but nothing drastic. So I knew I was there or thereabouts, and it was just brilliant racing. Brilliant racing, brilliant start to the season. Couldn't wish for anything any better.
It's good to see you up there and getting a great start to the season. There was nothing between any of you, really, was there?
We've worked hard on the car. Mike's helped me work. Yeah, we've worked miracles with it, really. Setup is spot on there. What's
the key to getting a good setup around here?
I can't tell you.
It's top secret, is it?
It is.
And great racing against those guys, Michael
brilliant,
and Andrew.
Absolutely brilliant. The pair of them, they're always really clean. Yeah, fantastic.
It was a very lively battle, very clean till I had a bit of an altercation at Ireland. Lucky to stay on it, really, but anyway, we got going again and ended up third, so yeah, it was a good result. Car's been great, no problems with it at all. Even with the bump, it still performed.
So that's it from the Advantage Motorsport Ford XR Challenge. Thanks for watching.